Hey class, it's Mrs. Gilling. And if you can see behind me, look, we got a little Christmas tree set up. Isn't it cute? My kids are about this tall, so to them, they feel like the tree's pretty big, even though for us it seems pretty small. But we're about to move houses. We sold our house and are moving to a different one, so we didn't want a huge one. We thought it'd be fun to decorate something still. So there's a little glimpse into the Gilling life right now. But let's get to what we're here for. You want to know a little bit more about your Unit 6 project. As you know, because you were working on it a little bit in Unit 5, you are going to be writing a newsletter. And hopefully you've gotten all your nervous jitters out with your preparations in the past unit, but I wanted to go over some specific tips that will help you be successful with this project. First of all, just some of the details. You're going to write the newsletter and you're going to have 4 different articles. The first 2 articles are going to be pretty much informational articles based off of things that you learned about in the last unit. The other 2 articles are going to be advice columns. You're going to pick 2 different questions that a potential reader may have had, and you're going to give your advice on them and tell them what you think as the young budding psychologist that they should do to help their friend or to help whoever it is they're asking for in that situation. So really it may sound like a big project, but if you do it just a little bit at a time, as the information and flip switch asks you to do, it's not going to be too overwhelming. It shouldn't be too hard. But I will tell you this: if you wait until the last minute, if you wait until the last 4 days of the quarter, you might feel overwhelmed and you might not do as good of a job. So we've got right now about 2.5 weeks left. You're coming up on Christmas break here, on the holiday break. And so start on it now. If you start on it now, you may be able to finish before the break. That's what I would encourage you to do. Get it done before the break. That way I can grade it, give you some feedback. And if there's anything you need to change for higher grade, you'll have time to do that. But if you wait until after the break, you only have 4 days and you might be kind of rushed and you won't be able to do as good job. And I don't like to be stressed when I'm doing assignments, and I don't think any of you do as well. So please just try and get it done ahead of time so you can have a little bit of relief, and so you can do a good job. I think we do a better job when we don't feel like, I gotta get this done. So right here on my screen is an example of what this newsletter may look like. At the top, you'll have your title. You'll go ahead and put the date and then the volume of the newsletter. And then as you can see here, they use 2 different columns. They put their 2 articles on this first one, and then on the second page, they put their advice columns. And that's something that I think is pretty straightforward and easy for you to do. Also note that they have pictures in here. I don't want just a bunch of words. If you just wanted to give me a bunch of words, then we would just do an essay. But I want it to be creative. I want it to look nice and be appealing. And so this is an opportunity for you to get your creative juices flowing and show me something nice. So I want to have at least 3 pictures in there. Also notice that they include their sources in here. If you're going to use outside information, then you have to cite your sources. And as we've been working on this quarter, I want you to put them in MLA format. And again, don't think of this as overwhelming. These are just tips. Make it look nice and cite your sources. Those are 2 tips for you. And there's another picture here. So they've got the three pictures. So it really doesn't have to be anything crazy long. You want it to be about 2 pages with about 2 columns on each side. Now, as I mentioned in Unit 5, if you just are really not feeling a newsletter, if it's just not the way that you want to present this information, I'm okay with that. But you've got to come up with something else that you want to do if that's the case. You've got to say, Mrs. Gilling, I want to make a video and I want to do these things in it. Or I want to make a diorama. Whatever it is that you want to do, that's fine, but it's got to include this information and I have to approve it. So be thinking about that now, because again, if it's the end of the quarter and there's only 4 days left, and you come to me and say, hey, Mrs. Gilling, I want to do this, there may not be enough time to approve that. So be thinking about that. So in the first lesson of Unit 6, it gives you a template that you can use to make this newsletter. I'm going to show that template to you right now. This is what it looks like. When I try to use this template, I have lots of problems. It doesn't ever work right for me. So if you see here and I click on this, nothing comes up to edit it. If I click on here, it just has problems. I think it's because it's an old Word template. And if you're like me, you're using one of the Chromebooks, and sometimes Chrome and the Word, it just doesn't mesh very well. Because of that, I want to show you an easy way that you can make a newsletter using Google Docs. Now, you probably already know this because you are pretty computer savvy people, but if you don't, just stay with me and we'll go through it together. So go to your Google Docs page. This is what I've already made, and I'll show it to you. This is what I created. And if you do it like mine, it'll look something like this. And this is how you do it. So go File, New, and Document. And sometimes it takes just a second to load. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a header. That's where you can put the issue info, the date, the issue, and your title. So you'll go, and again, it takes a second. You'll go to Insert, and then go down to Header. Not footer, header. There we go. And I'll go back to show you the one I made. We're going to put first the date and then volume 1, because this is, unless you've made lots of them, volume 1. So obviously you're not going to write date there. You're going to write the date that you made your newsletter, but you'll put the date there and then volume 1. Then put a space, center it, and put your title. Whatever you decide your title is going to be. Make it something creative. Don't be boring about it and just say newsletter. Have fun with it. Make it cool. And make it bigger. If it's only size 11, that's not really big enough. I made mine 48. And then I changed the color to make it cool. You could put a word art in here. Be creative with it, but just do something nice there. Again, don't put newsletter yourself, but you're going to put your newsletter title right there. So that's simple. So that's the first part. That's the part that I thought people were going to struggle with a little bit, was putting the title in there, since in the template that they gave you, that was a little bit difficult. But if you already know how to do this, you're already a good portion of the way there. So this is the next tricky part. After you get the title done, you'll click down here, and you need to insert columns. Because if you just have it all written out in words, it's not really how newsletters are. It doesn't look as appealing. So it's really simple to add your headers. You're going to go to add your columns. Go to Format, Columns, and then click the one with 2. You could do 3 if you wanted to, but I feel like that's a lot more words on the page. It's a lot easier to read if you just have the 2. But if you can make it look nice and that's what you want to do, you can do 3. But again, it's just gotta be appealing. So click on the 2, and then right here you'll put your first article. So article 1. And again, you'll put the title to whatever your article is. After you have that one done, you need to go to Format, go to Insert, and then Column Break. And this is where it gets kind of confusing, but if you follow my steps, you'll be okay. Insert, Column Break, and then move your cursor over right here to the next column, and that's where you'll put your second article, Article 2. With me so far? And if you have any questions, I know we're not live. You can't really stop me, but send me an email saying, Mrs. Gilling, I'm so confused. I can't make my articles work. I can't make my columns work. My title looks funny. I'm here to help. Don't worry about it. So put your Article 2 there, and you'll just type, and you'll write in whatever it is that you need to. So this is your basic template. To go put your next articles in, you want to scroll down a little bit. Just push Enter till we get to the next page. Are we there yet? Let's check. Yep. Nope, not yet. Gotta go a little bit more. There we go. Next page. So you're gonna do the same thing on this page. You'll write Article 2, it's your Article 3, and that is your first advice column. And then you'll insert page break, column break. It'll bring you over there, and then you'll put your fourth column, your second advice column. And then you're done. At least with the formatting part. Obviously, you've got to fill in all your information and put it there. But that's how to make a basic outline of a newsletter, basic newsletter for you. If you have any further questions from there, again, let me know. But you should be able in here to copy and paste the different pictures that you need. It should be easy for you to add in your sources, but just a straightforward template for you to use. And I think that all of you should have access to Google Docs, especially if you're using one of the school's Chromebooks. But if not, feel free to do whatever to make your own newsletter. Again, I feel like most of you are probably pretty tech savvy. You can probably figure it out. But be creative with it. Or if you don't like Google Docs, or if you say, Mrs. Gill, I can do a way better job than that one, awesome, go for it. I want to see what you can do. But please, if you're struggling with the template that they give you in FlipSwitch, just come back to this. And I think it's a pretty simple way to go about this. I don't want to go too deep into the specific details of what goes in each article, because I think FlipSwitch does a pretty good job of outlining it. Just make sure that each lesson you're working on it. Because if you wait till the end, like I said, it's just going to be overwhelming. But each lesson, do a little bit. Work on, if the first lesson, it tells you just to set it up like I set it up. Do that the first lesson. Then the second lesson, write your first article. And the third lesson, write your second article. And then the fourth lesson, write your advice columns. And then that means in the fifth lesson, you just have to tidy it up, put your pictures in, make sure your sources are good, and then you're done. So follow that, and I think you'll be okay. And again, if you have any other questions, let me know. When you are done watching this, please go to our Google Classroom and fill out the video assignment sheet. I've gotten a few more of those in. You're getting pretty good at turning those in, but there's still a lot of you that haven't done any of them. They are counted towards your grade, and they're very easy questions. Literally, they ask you things like, what's your name? Did you watch the video? And what do you have to do for your assignment? Very straightforward. I just put them there to hold you accountable for actually watching these, because I've found that the students that watch the videos tend to do better on the actual assignments. So please go fill that out in our Google Classroom. And as always, if you have any questions, send me an email or give me a call, and I'm more than willing to help you out. But great luck with your assignment. Have fun. Be creative. I'm looking forward to reading your newsletters, guys. Good luck.